you've had so many experiences like early on with, I guess, the root of sound, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna put it to you that way because I even heard you talk about how Afrobeats is essentially like the root of most Black music, or most Black music is, there's a part of everything we hear or in any music that's originated from Black culture or African culture in Afrobeats.
Yeah, man.
But when did you realize
sure.
your appreciation for music enough to where when did you realize that music was your thing, your vessel of expression? There we go. I'm about to reword that question. Now,
yeah,
that was
man,
great.
I like it. Where did I realize that music was my vessel of expression? I think I realized it like early as well, but I didn't really think along those early times that I could become a professional musician.
Why was that?
Yeah, I mean, up until a certain point when I was in, junior high school, then it just dawned on me one time, like, what if you did this as a career? What would you do? I asked myself a question like that, and I remember it like it was just today.
Okay, I want you to pause right there because that's the next part of the conversation. But I want to set a little scene real quick so we can transition. All right, so with scenes, I want you to sit. Well, you don't have to sit like this, but like sit up a little bit, close your eyes, put your palms to the sky, relax, melt into that seat if you can. No, you have to put your palms up. That's important. Okay, so like in meditation or in yoga and shavasana, your palms are like portals to like your spirit. So, just you feel a little bit more vulnerable if you just relax your shoulders and just sit like that. There we go. All right, so listen to me. I don't know where you used to play at when you were outside, when you were 5, 6, 7, but we're with your boys, your good girls, whoever in the neighborhood. The elders are outside, the women are outside taking care, attending to their duties. And you can imagine the scene here. But you all are playing football, and you hear there's music in the background. What song is playing as you are playing outside with your friends?
You hear a song like na 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 na.
What's that song called?
For no say we do this song where people they take boogazo. For no say we do this.
This sounds really good in my headphones.
Yo, you hear me? Your baby neighbors and everything to me. It's not the same as the sun. I'm super and I'm on our side in Tijai Casa. Yo. Yeah.
What's that called?
I'm coming.
Okay.
There's another one. VIP. When the man does, yo, that is it. That's why you just took me right there. That's why you just took me. Like I could play the whole movie immediately in my mind. Thank you. I didn't know that shit worked like this.
Yes, that's why you have to. So
and it's quick and easy.
Yes.
It's just like it's automotive, like pang.
Yes, that's what I do.
Honestly, man.
I do that at home. So I have a work like this is shaggier and a little bit more plush. I'll lay down and melt into shavasana, and I'll like play songs and just let them vibrate through me. And then sometimes I already have visions set that I manifest through. I make my vision boards through music.
I mean, we manifest.
This is important though. If you were on the ground, I would love to be able to do this on the ground, obviously like a drone or something. But it's
powerful.
Like, it's very powerful. So
yeah, man. So that's the whole block. There's so many, many songs in that block that I can sing, or if I remember, that was a hip life era.
Hip life. All right, we got high life, we got hip life. What's hip life?
From Ghana.
Put me on hip life.
The high life from Ghana transitioned Hollande. I want to get it right. The high life from Ghana was basically more of closest to, it had the reggae element somewhat, the jazz, the
rhythm,
the jazz and the rhythm. Yes, definitely. And then the hip life is when the hip hop era was hip. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more of a combative sound.
So that took the combination from the high life and rap onto the hip hop beats.
Okay,
that's high life. That's hip life.
Hip life is when high life got on hip hop beats.
So because the predecessors had the high life already, there's one person called Reggie Oseg, Reggie Rostone. Big up yourself wherever you are.
Yeah.
He, I'll say, is the pioneer of hip life music because he moved from America, went through UK, go back home one time and saw the scene was booming and be like, no, as creative as he would be as a Ghanaian, Ghanaians really have that foundational mentality. I'm not even gonna lie. It shows. It shows in our lineage, in our history.
Okay.
You see a lot of Ghanaians being the first people to do some of the things that built up across the rest of the continent.
Okay.
That's why I'm not saying only Ghanaians, because that would be a segregative talk. But I'm saying Ghanaians in a sense of a collective as Africans, as Black people. And credit got to be given where it's due. Because most times when you say these things as a musician, you get a clap back immediately from the other brothers who are supposed to understand that this is a collective point you're making, not a distinctive point to subtract from, the lot.
Yeah.
So, big ups to Reggie Osei.
Reggie Osei, I was trying to write that name down.
Called Reggie Rockstone. So he came up with a hip life. So he took it from the hip hop, which is the hip, and then took the life off from the high life. And then he is a beast of a rapper and a musician. So he gave us tons and tons and tons of beautiful music, moved the whole era. At the time when hip life was filling up the Apollo Theater in New York and across the West, it was massive. It was a wave that was moving alongside hip hop.
Okay, I see what you mean. So you're like, while we had New York and the South booming over here, well, in different time frames, you all had just the evolution of hip life into hip hop. I mean,
we had the evolution of hip life into hip hop, into
high life.
Hold on there. High life into hip life. My bad.
Yeah.
We had the evolution of high life into hip life, where the hip life picks up from the hip hop foundation, the fundamentals, the feel, the vibes, the beat, the style, the looks, and then blend it with the African vibe, which is majority of the high life music that we had.
Yeah.
So it made it cooler. It brought it to the next generation.
Yes, there we go.
It brought it to the next generation. Because remember, I said every generation has a cool era. Something that makes it cool. And interestingly enough, our generation is beautifully bombarded with everything from all generations with a touch of futuristicism.
I like your perspective a lot. I like your perspective. I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at the people, but I like your perspective. You are great at this. Great guest.
See,
all right, so let's go back to that moment you said you remember like yesterday when you realized like that music was your vessel of expression and that you could, take this as more seriously as a career. So let's talk about that day.
And I'm like, okay, fine. What would I do? I'm like, I would love to do dancehall reggae because I am high life. I am hip life. Yes.
Yeah.
That stays. No touch about that. But I would love to be reggae. I would love to be dancehall too, because I could connect to the Caribbean culture who are also Black people. It interests me a lot to look into that, and I realize that, majority of the story will be based upon slavery, which is not entirely the only cause of transportation or immigration or migration into the West Indies. I believe that Black people have been traveling the world before slavery, which was a business form, So I was much more interested in that sound. And at early as an age, I could believe that it belongs to all of us as Black people more than it being a Caribbean thing only. Because first and foremost, these are, fellow Black people too. I'm not saying all Caribbeans are entirely Black people.
Yeah.
Because we have the West Indies, we have the Chinese in there, we have, but I'm speaking from the perspective of where, the culture is major.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the music and the lifestyle, etc. And that can never be denied of finding its roots from the motherland. So all that interested a young youth. And I began to, buy music books. I began to listen to more and more of dancehall music. I remember this particular song around that era. One stood out was a champion lover. That's like, I think it's Shabba's era,
Okay.
With the Kippertons, with the Bujus,
Who'd Boz?
Yeah, that era. Then I heard time like R to the A to the B to the G to the A.
How were you listening to this music back then?
Man,
on iPod or on?
No iPods.
I mean, I gotta ask.
I know what you mean, yes, but no iPads, man. I know Africa is supposed to be Wakanda, but I mean, at the time, I didn't see no iPad. Physical iPad. There could be other forms of iPads.
CDs, cassettes, like.
It was playing on air. You had the radio played it. My cousins, Ash, they bring CDs, tapes, etc. You know, the print media, the traditional media as it would be at the time. You know, yeah, man. That's how we heard our music.